Hi, everybody. Just wanted to first and foremost say hello. Um, and thank you guys for truly an awesome session last week. Um, Before people get scared, this is not my retirement video. I thought that maybe it was going to be. But after a lot of consideration and some feedback from you guys, I think what I want to do is I don't even want to take time off. That is something that I had thought about doing, but I don't think that's actually going to be the play that I make here. But there are a few things that I would like to discuss. First and foremost, I love all of you. You guys are fantastic. I could not imagine a better group of people to run my game with. Number two, it's a game. Which means that we need to treat it as such, right? There's no need in us getting bogged down in rules and certain expectations and stuff, because we all come here in the tavern to play D&D, and we come here to relax, unwind, be with friends, stuff like that. And for a lot of people, my house, as well as the tavern, is just sort of a safe space for them. It worked for you, if you're one of those people. And I want you guys to know that this is always going to be a safe place for you. With that being said, there are a few things that I would like to go over. In D&D, a lot of times there's this interesting discussion of what the Dungeon Master and player contract is. It's sort of an unspoken thing, or it's supposed to be unspoken. In theory, if you speak about it, it means that your party is doomed immediately, because then there's rules and there's things that you have to adhere to, and if you're having the conversation, then there's a big problem. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I believe that everyone can use refreshers on rules and what's expected whenever you come to the table. This is going to be a little bit of a ramble, but I do have a bulleted point list that I'm going to go off of, that way that it's not too crazy of what we're doing. But anyways, so there's two sides to the DM player contract. There's the Dungeon Master side, me, and then there's the player contract side, you guys. So I'm just going to go through a few of these bulleted points, specifically, not necessarily specifically in regarding to last week's session, but into a few things that I think have been sort of bugging at me for a while. And it's just lets you know where I stand on things. I believe in full transparency. That's the way that I do my job. And I believe in communication. Because if you guys don't see that there is something that I have an issue with, then you guys aren't going to know to fix it. You're not psychic. No such thing as psychics. So anyways, I'm just going to go through, and I'm going to have a little bit of a break in the middle to give some thoughts on things. So the DM contract side of things, as the facilitator of this game, I promise to make this as enjoyable of an experience as possible. I think that goes pretty self-explanatory, but there's a little bit to dive in there. I assure you that I am not going to, well, let me read through the whole list, and then I'll hit points that I think are maybe not seen before. So number one, as a facilitator of this game, I promise to make this as enjoyable of an experience as possible. Number two, I will not make a decision about your character's actions without your consent. I learned that one. Number three, I will not punish you for trying to give your character's flavor. That's a really fun thing to do. Number four, I will attempt to keep the group focused. That's something that I struggle with. Number five, I will act impartially to all meta conflicts and will negotiate a solution. Self-explanatory. I will endorse a player's using of creativity to solve problems, even if it slightly bends the rule. I believe in rule of cool. Oftentimes, it's very cool. If I rule of cool something and I just straight up say, I'm rule of cooling this, you absolutely deserve it, you're doing a great job. So that's the DM side of things. A couple things that I want to say within that. I am the facilitator of this game. As much as what this is a collaborative game, and as much as what this is a collaborative space, I'm the person who's running. Which means it is my obligation to make sure that you guys enjoy it. Because I'm the one who's hosting it. That means that I have to plan. That means that I have to spend some sort of money. I don't have to, but for me it enhances the experience, and I believe for you guys it enhances the experience as well. I think it would suck for us to have been doing D&D for 3 years outside of my parents' house underneath their carport with plastic tables. So now we have a tavern, and obviously I'm not going to ask you guys to pay for the tavern. This is something that I did to enhance the experience for you guys. But I do promise to make this as enjoyable of experience as possible, which means inclusion, which means diversity of what we do, and structure. Those are things that make something enjoyable. And, there's a lot that goes into what makes it enjoyable for one person versus enjoyable for another. Some people want more encounters, more statistics, this, that, and the other. I'm one of the ones who prefers doing more of the roleplay, more of the lore and the maps and, this, that, and the other. I prefer doing that sort of thing. There's not a right or wrong thing within that. It's just my thinking. Sorry for the jump cut there. I got a phone call. Okay, so that basically covers point number 1. As the facilitator of this game, I promise to make this as enjoyable of an experience as possible, even though enjoyability differs from person to person. Number 2, I will not make a decision about your character's actions without your consent. We learned that with a broken leg once, and I feel pretty strongly that I have not gone back on that since, and nor will I. Number 3, I will not punish you for trying to give your character flavor. I love it when you guys give your characters flavor. All of you who have like special movements and nonsense and words of Othranticola, for your spells and stuff, it's amazing. Anytime that you guys want to add extra stuff to your backstory, it's amazing. I absolutely love it. It makes my world bigger. It makes our collective experience more wholesome. I will attempt to keep the group focused. This one's a little bit more tough. I'm bad about this. I chase down rabbit trails like nobody's business, and because I just want to see where they go. One of the things that happened this past session on Friday night was that, we're going up on the big Lagastrian encounter, and I let you guys do stuff beforehand, even though I knew in my head how much time I had in order for you guys to get stuff done. And I think the encounter may have gone rather differently had we have actually, boom, gone into the encounter instead of potentially wasting time with doing other things. I don't think it was necessarily a waste, though. I believe that all of the actions that happened, I believe that they were, A, either justified, or B, forwarded the story, or C, prepared you guys well enough for later events. But yeah, I would love some feedback on how to keep the group more focused. I love it whenever we use the timer. That gives everybody a sense of, this is what we're doing. We're doing it right now. This, that, and the other. Number 5, I will act impartially to all meta conflicts and will negotiate a solution. Here we go. This is a fun one whenever it comes to SRP stuff and other meta conflicts that can happen, outside of, what is considered to be meta. If there is a conflict between two players of, hey, I feel like you're harassing me, I'm going to fix that. And that's my job. Negotiation is a big part of that. Negotiating a solution, whether that is, hey, we need to take some time for, a couple of you guys, maybe let's put the game on hold for tonight. Let's come back to it, that sort of thing. Or meta conflicts of, we have someone who knows the rules very, very well, and they have a disagreement with the player, and, it's one of those things. It's my job to negotiate what that ruling at the end of it is going to be. Number 6, I will endorse players using creativity to solve problems, even if it slightly bends the rules. Like I said, rule of cool. All right, so that is the... those are my specific promises to you guys. I guess in other wording of that, I'm going to be fair. I'm going to try to be fair. I'm going to try and be kind and, really watch how I address things. There are some days that I just have a shorter temper. I'm human. Everybody is, just like you guys. You guys have shorter tempers on some days. And we'll get to that in a minute. So I'm going to try and be fair. I'm going to try and be polite or nice about it, about any issues that I see. and I'm going to try and keep us focused in on the game, because that's the reason why I'm here. I love hanging out with you guys, but on Friday nights I would like to play D&D because it's my hobby and I really enjoy it. All right, now let's get to the part that really brings you guys into the fold, because the GM player contract, or DM contract, is it's half those things I promise to you guys that I will be doing. Now it's your turn. I'm going to list these off real quick. The player contract. I, as the player, will not make a character designed to mess with the party. I'll describe all of these a little bit more in depth. Number 2, I will be respectful to everyone. Number 3, I will assist with, funding for snacks, advancements that are made by player's choice, etc. And once again, I'll get into these things. Number 4, I will allow every player a time to shine. I will not hold the spotlight. Number 5, I will stay focused. I will stay focused. I will stay focused. Number 6, I shall respect the DM's rulings on a subject as they are made, and shall not detract from the gameplay if there is a disagreement of the rules, and will discuss it at the end of the session instead. Number 7, during disagreements or when things are not going to go my way, I promise to keep cool. Number 8, I will check my emotions at the door if I have had a rough week. Even though this is a time for community and a safe place, we are here to play a game. Alright, so I'm going to break these down a little bit. Maybe some of the wording in here sounds a little bit harsh. It's not meant to be. And something else to clear the air on things, I'm not upset, and I'm not hurt or anything like that. I just feel like this is something that we as a group need to do, is to kind of go over these things. Let's start with number 1. I, as a player, will not make a character designed to mess with the party. That means, don't make a character that's absolutely broken, even if it is rules as written, because then it detracts from everybody's collective fun. Because then some people are just too overpowered. Maximizing your character in constraints is totally fine. But also, messing with the party would be someone who is intentionally against the party. This is a collaborative game, which means your players, while they may have other goals, also need to, still be collaborative. Sorry guys, another quick cut, if you can or cannot tell. Yeah, so you shouldn't create a character that's designed to mess with the party, inhibit them in any way, even though goals can be different. I would suggest, making a character that has at least some sort of shared ideal, even if it's in a different alignment. Number 2, I will be respectful to everyone. That means everybody. That means the person who is sitting directly next to you, or the person who's sitting across the table. And that also means respecting me, because I'm the person who is putting forth extra time to plan these things and to facilitate them in some capacity. There does have to be some sort of respect for the DM, just as much as what there is for other players. Number 3, this is going to be a little bit of a finicky one. I will assist with funding for snacks or advancements that are made by player's choice, etc. This one's this one's new. It's always been rather unspoken. A lot of people are really good about contributing into something, either doing notes, or doing the wiki, or bringing snacks for the table, or providing fans, as Kit did this past week. It's not a... This is a game that is highly entertaining for, almost 6 hours every week. There needs to be some sort of kickback to the group, even if it's not monetarily. Feel free to donate some time. And I know all of us have busy schedules, myself included. But if you think about it, volunteer some time, volunteer some funding for what we're doing here, just that way that it lightens the load for everybody else. Number 4, I will allow every player a time to shine. I will not hold the spotlight. This used to be a problem. I don't think it's necessarily as big of a problem now. Some sessions are just more focused on certain players than other sessions. Bear that in mind. There are going to be weeks whenever you are the star of attention and you get to go on your own adventure, or the three of you get to go on your own adventure and stuff, and then the week following, you're sort of put on the back burner. Bear in mind that the way that we do things usually is, we do things off of initiative, or we do a split party system where, half of the group is going to be doing A, and then the other half of the group is going to be doing B. Still stay focused whenever it's not, on you. And stay even more focused whenever you have just had the spotlight, because oftentimes there are things that can be seen from other experiences. Which obviously brings to number 5, I will stay focused, I will stay focused, I will stay focused. Draw if you would like, paint if you would like, get on Snapchat and Snapchat like a thing of the table. As long as you are paying attention, we're good. I don't want us to ever have to come to like dinner table rules where like all of us put the cell phones in the middle, and that's what we use for our platforms for encounters. I never want us to come to that. And even if it's sidebar conversations, if it's pertaining to exactly what is happening in that moment, great. If not, table it. Table it till it's time. SRPs are a great example. I love that we have implemented them because they have brought forth a lot that you guys were not able to do previously just because of our sheer number. So, how the SRPs are truly wonderful. The problem is that SRPs cannot come above the actual table gameplay. Whenever we're sitting here at the table, it's a community thing. We need each other's feedbacks. We need each other's conversation and stuff to keep things flowing. And usually the party, even though it may be, let's just say, let's say Velky and Kyron are speaking about something over here, the rest of the group still needs to be figuring out what's going on the other side of it. And by all means, that was not to call out Velky and Kyron. Those are just the first two PCs that came to mind. Yeah, so staying focused. Do whatever you need to do to stay focused. As long as you are actively engaged, I have no problem with it. However, if you're not actively engaged within it, and if you're not focusing within it, it detracts. If you're having your own sidebar conversations about what your plans are for the weekend and stuff, save it till halftime. Save it for before we come or afterwards. Just don't waste the collective party's time. Still have enough respect for everybody else to put those things away for a little bit. I shall respect the DM's rulings on a subject as they are made, and shall not detract from gameplay if there is a disagreement of the rules, and will discuss it at the end of the session instead. I make a lot of mistakes as a DM. I have only been doing this for 3 years. I have learned almost all of the rules exclusively from you guys. It's not a hobby of mine to read through the source books. That probably makes me a bad DM, just to be fully fair. I'll look stuff up on the fly. I'm usually able to make an educated decision about it, but I do have to look it up on the fly. However, if I'm making a ruling on something that would be either a rule of cool or something that is not necessarily combat related, but a different type of ruling, please accept what the ruling is, and let's move from there afterwards. If I have messed something up completely, let me know at the end of the session. I love getting feedback. I love getting critiques. Maybe not as soon as the session ends and you approach the throne and say, hey, Noah, you did this, and this wrong. Maybe shoot me a text the next morning when I'm not coming off of the high of DMing and I'm not exhausted after doing it for 6 hours. Yeah, so just respect my rulings on a subject. There should be no disagreements in game. There just shouldn't be. The only time that there should be is if I have messed up some sort of ruling that would cause your player death or something that you would not want your character to do. Those things, by all means, you can correct me on them, and we will address them as they come. Alright, during disagreements, or when things are not going my way, I promise to keep cool. This goes hand in hand with number 8. I will check my emotions at the door if it's been a rough week. Even though this is a time for community and a safe place, we are here to play a game. If you disagree with something that I have done, do your best to hold it in for a few until halftime if it's something major that I need to fix, or until, the end of the session or the next day. And, checking your emotions at the door really just will sort of put you in the right headspace that we are playing a game. This will help our focus, this will help our productivity, and will make it a far more enjoyable experience for everybody. On my way home from work on Fridays, I do my best to always put whatever was going on at work, in the back of my head. Just because I don't want it to impact you guys. And this is a very safe space. It really is. You all I consider to be very dear and close friends. And like I said at the beginning of this, I love you very much. This is not a scolding video. This is not... This is the ramblings of a DM who just wants to make sure that we are having the best game possible. If it is something where you've had a crap week, where someone has died, you lost your job, things are just going crappy, let me know. I may just ask you to, okay, are you going to be willing to play? If not, that is totally fine. Please sit in, observe, enjoy the company of good people. If you're not in the position where you can play, shoot me a text, shoot the group a text, whatever it may be, and just say, hey guys, send good vibes, pray for me, however it may come across, and just be open and honest about it. I'm not in the right headspace to play right now. No one will think any differently, and everyone will absolutely have your best interests at heart and in mind. All right, so those are the points that I have for the player contract. Basically, the big thing is be focused, contribute to the group, because we are a tight-knit group of people, and I love you all so very much. I want to just reiterate that over and over again, that this is supposed to be a just something where we all sort of understand it, where we all understand where I'm coming from and where my frustration came from last week. My frustration was that, I had put forth a lot of time and energy and effort into the game, and I just felt completely blindsided by how well received certain parts of it were, and I think that it was a lot my fault, and only a minuscule portion of it was the collective group's fault, as a whole. Either way, on both sides of things, there are things that we can be doing better to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and to make sure that we can continue on for another 3 years, another 5 years, 10, 30 years. But that being said, I don't really think that I have anything else. My goal is not to antagonize anybody as well. My goal is to make sure that you guys do have a good time. And you all are such honorable and special people to me. And I want you guys to know how much I truly do appreciate all of it that it is that you guys put into this game. Buying minis, investing time, creating incredible stories with me, creating incredible stories yourselves. It means a lot to see my world being fulfilled in such a beautiful way. I am not going to get sappy. I just want to let you guys know that, those are what the DM player contract things usually consist of. If you guys can think of anything else that needs to be in there, let me know. I'm going to post this video to YouTube privately on the Unbardoon Tavern Talks YouTube page, and then I'm going to shoot a link to Discord, which is probably where you found it, or to Facebook, which is where you found it. And I ask that all members of Unbardoon watch this video if you're an active player, because this is the standard that I hold you to. This is the standard that I'm holding myself to. And, you know, I am welcoming feedback on this until Friday, the 27th, when we will pick up our game. Friday the 27th, before we begin play, because whenever we begin on Friday the 27th at 6 p.m., we're going to bang on. We're going to go in straight at it. Something else that I do want to say as well, for the sake of timeliness, I know that all of us have crazy hours, crazy jobs, stuff like that. Not all of us have normal 9-to-5s. I will be starting as soon, as close to 6 as possible. As soon as my stuff is set up and as soon as I'm settled, I'm going to go ahead and start playing. I don't want to waste any time necessarily waiting on anybody, just because it's not fair to the other people who are here on time or are able to make it on time and stuff like that. And once again, that's not meant to be a scolding thing or a corrective thing, anything like that. It's just one of those things. I want us to be as productive as possible with the time that we have allotted for it. But like I said, if you guys disagree with me on anything that I have said, or if you guys have additions to add to either the DM side or the player side, shoot me a text. Let me know. I've got like a bullet point list, like I said, that I went over. I'd be happy to add stuff in there. I'm not going to make a part 2 of this because I really don't want to. But yeah, let me know. Let me know what you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I'm accepting all feedback on that by the 27th. Anything after that, I assume that everything is totally good with this, and that there are no explicit problems with what is what I've talked about here, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys on Friday. Let me know if you have any complaints, anything to add to it. After the 27th, whenever we begin play, boom, we are starting just back like it's session 1. Except obviously some things have changed. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening to the ramblings of an old DM. And yeah, I love you all very, very, very much, and I mean that to each one of you who watches this. I love you so, so, so much. Thank you for being with me for the past few years on this, or even the past few months if you're new. It has been a blast, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in Unbardoon on Friday night at 6. Thank you so much.